Hey everybody, this is herculespetix, founder, curator, docent, and gift shop employee of the herculespetix Academy of Comic Book Studies. Today we're going to be looking at Batman number 516 and number 517. And this is going to be the first chapter in our look at this great long run by writer Doug Moench, penciler Kelley Jones, and inker John Beatty. But the main attraction here is Moench and Jones. And actually, the real main attraction is Kelley Jones. This art is amazing in these. It was so rare that these such a great run would just be within a normal title. You know, usually stuff of this high quality would be given its own miniseries, maybe even prestige format miniseries. But just month after month, a few fill-ins here and there, these guys just cranked out these amazing superhero comics. These came out in like 95. And I think they continued for like almost 3 years, which that's pretty long in the 90s. It's definitely long now. You know, when we were kids, guys would stay on titles for, 50 issues. But that kind of became a thing of the past. Artists and writers would jump around after, 5, 6 issues. So this was just this nice run. And it's kind of sad in a way. This is the last comic I ever bought month to month off the stands. I pretty much wasn't buying many superhero comics at the time in the mid-90s, but I discovered these and I was like, I'm going to be a Wednesday warrior and go to the comic store every month and pick these up. And it's kind of fun. I kind of miss having a tight comic like that. I don't have the money now. I haven't in a long time, but this is the last time I actually bought a comic every month. I guess other than maybe Santos Sisters, which comes out every other month, I think. But I'm already tired of that shit. But I'm not tired of these. These are fucking beautiful. And let's start off with a Kelley Jones cover, pencils and inks. Great stuff here. Kelley Jones is kind of playing it straight. If you know anything about Kelley Jones cover work, it was really weird because Kelley Jones was kind of a fanboy favorite, doing all those covers for Nightfall. But he was just a really crazy, wonky artist. I mean, not many popular mainstream artists drew anything like him. He still has these like cartoony skulls here, very stylized skulls. But Batman's pretty. This is like, it could be Marshall Rogers or something, or Neil Adams. But a really nice cover. He's really good at composing covers just for dramatic effect. So here we go. Sleeper, Part 1, Nightmares. I should also mention that I think the editors knew they were onto something special here, because the colors are by Adrian Roy, one of the best colorists at DC, and Todd Klein does the letters. Once again, probably the best letterer at DC. I like this. He does a lot of design motifs like this throughout this series. Just these really nice vignettes, kind of foreshadowing what's to come. And it's also interesting because Doug Moench, he started in the 70s. He's still got that, writing captions in that 70s style, almost like poetic. It says, "Wide awake, she dreams of pain and terror. The waking sleep is hers, but she will give the nightmare to others, stealing hearts in return." Just look at this beautiful art here. Look at this crazy texture on the tree. It's, I don't know if that's John Beatty kind of deciding to do that, but I have a feeling it's Kelley Jones. He delineated that in the pencils. Look at this crazy Batmobile. Only Kelley Jones would have a Batmobile like this. It's just nuts. It's so, it's cute. It looks like if Batman was in Duckville, that's what the Batmobile would look like. It's all bulbous and it just looks like a really fun toy. So this story takes place after Nightfall. Batman got his back broken. Then he got this assassin named Azrael to take over the mantle of the Batman. And that did not work out well. Azrael was kind of a psychopath. And Batman realized his mistake, took down Azrael, and took back his Batman title. So this is taking place right after all those events. And this is kind of a back to basics. Doug Moench, I think, was just like, okay, we've had all this turmoil and tumult in the Batman universe for 4 years. I'm gonna get back to basics. Even though Kelly Jones is he's definitely not going back to basics. This is probably one of the most unique interpretations of Batman. Definitely on the main series, Just all these panels. I'm going to try to restrain myself from pointing out every panel because almost every panel is beautifully designed. It's almost like every panel in this is almost like just a perfect little unit of design where the composition, everything about them are just so good to me. So Batman's thinking to himself basically that, I got to remember now that I'm returned, I must be different. But I have to remember that I'm all about striking fear in criminals, I'm a predatory creature of fear and of a darkness that knows no dawn. I like this he's remembering the bat that inspired him, that crashed him through the Wayne Manor window. All the colors drop out here. That's really striking. So, like I said, back to basics. In a lot of Batman comics before the main story starts, we just see Batman doing his normal cleaning up the streets business. Who doesn't want to see like a rich white guy beating up some poor minorities who are just trying to get a little money by stealing? I like this little design technique motif there. So Batman kicks the shit out of these guys, and he leaves them strung up for Commissioner Gordon. Now we change the scenery, and what scenery this is. Look at this beautifully drawn, like kind of Asian castle-looking thing. And we're introduced to our antagonist here, Sleeper. And we realize pretty quickly on that she's kind of like a religious nut. She worships this goddess. She's saying, accept this sacrifice, my latest heart. So it's like a human heart she's offering up to her goddess. So Batman overhears the police radio. Look at this, guys. Not only is this car this goofy little design, the buildings are all askew. Like, this is just like full-on madcap cartooning, some of this stuff. And I guess there's been a homicide, so Batman's going to check it out. Now we see Sleeper's buddy, Remy. And it seems like Remy is bought into all this goddess nonsense. Like, he's part of her religion. But look at this insane body. This is like my one problem with Kelly Jones. Just, you could work out for 78 years and you'd never have these muscles. It looks like he has shingles or something. He's like, has boils that are supposed to be, I guess, his ribs. The muscles like around your ribs. I like all this exotic statuary he draws into the background. Look at the colors in this. Just great primary colors from Adrian Aurora. Beautiful stuff. These panels, both of them, so good. Every panel with the Batman is just amazing. The way he plays with his cape, his ears, it's so, it's just not realistic. But then he'll do this beautiful building here, completely realistic. So he's eavesdropping on this murder investigation. Apparently, this is the third person in just a few days who's been killed and found with their heart ripped out. And of course, it's a huge mystery. Batman breaks in to do his own snooping. He never trusts what the cops do because the cops are idiots compared to him, usually. And apparently the murderer left behind this Chinese headdress. Now back to it, we see Sleeper and Remy. She says, sleep for me is impossible. Sleep is too close to death. So Batman calls the coroner pretending to be Commissioner Gordon because Batman can do anything. And so he's also a great mimic. And it turns out that all the victims were dead before their heart was ripped out. Apparently, they all died of cardiac arrest, and then after they died, the murderer cut their hearts out because there's no spurting of blood. So some kind of induced heart attack, because it's obviously murders are going on. Okay, guys, notice this. This was such a weird little thing. Okay, we see this guy holding a puppet. So just remember, we're gonna see more of this guy. So now we have a little interlude, just kind of this is just Batman mythos stuff. Batman, the Batman family of characters. So apparently, in all of the turmoil in the past few months or years, Harvey Bullock, the detective, the sergeant, he's in the hospital. He's all laid up. And Detective Bach pays him a visit. That's kind of a weird panel. Batman goes to visit Commissioner Gordon. He's not doing well. I guess his wife kicked him out. He's sleeping in his office. And another thing you can deduce from this is that during the events of Nightfall and post-Nightfall, Commissioner Gordon and Batman are definitely on the outs. It's basically Commissioner Gordon seems like he hates Batman. And Batman says, listen, no matter how you feel about me, just I want to stop this serial killer. They're probably going to kill a fourth person. I want to stop that. And even though Gordon doesn't like him, he's like, yeah, there's a bunch of files on my desk. Take them and get the hell out of here. I need some sleep. I like that panel there of Gordon. And look at Batman looking kind of like really just sad. It's like, I've lost my friend. So apparently the skull, the headdress that was left at the crime scene is a Chinese memento mori to remind its owner that death awaits for us all. And Batman also finds out that all of the 3 victims were hypnotherapists. And apparently there's 3 other hypnotherapists who are still alive. They all belonged to some secret project overseen by an unknown intelligence organization. The guy who wrote this article about these guys that Batman discovers, he was killed in a freakish car accident. So it looks like some fishy business is going on. It's not just some crazy serial killer. And so basically Sleeper is, she hasn't slept in, I don't know, forever. She's completely sleep deprived, and because of that, she's pretty nuts. And she can dream while she's awake. And basically her reality is just completely hallucinatory. She's like, can you imagine if you didn't ever slept? Yeah, you'd be bonkers. So she sees the god, like it's animated and it talks to her. And the goddess demands that she get a fourth heart for her. Look at this amazing panel here. It's like totally like some 50s Atlas comic, like Steve Ditko or Bernard Krigstein. Also, this guy she looks like a 50s Atlas monster, like Baylorg. But man, this is so cool. I like how just abstracted they are, because it almost shows how crazy she is. This is how she sees reality, differently than we do. God, look at these reds. More beautiful colors. The blue of Batman's cape. I don't know if you guys could tell. This is on newsprint, too. They didn't even give this slick paper. This was just like, it's normal Batman monthly, and yet we'll put this all-star powerhouse team on it. Just so weird that, like, month after month, they just cranked out these brilliant, great comics. So Batman figures the 3 surviving hypnotherapists obviously are the next to be targeted. So the first one on his list is Angela Shane, and he's heading over there. But unfortunately, Sleeper gets there first. And Sleeper comes into the apartment, and of course, Dr. Angela Shane is completely just like, what are you doing here? And Sleeper says, do you remember the experiments in sleep deprivation that you did on me? And Dr. Shane tries to say, well, I kind of opposed them in the end. Because it seems like it was almost like a form of torture on her. I mean, it made her go crazy. She says, sleep is a form of death, doctor. That's why I have these skulls tied into my hair. I don't know if you noticed that earlier. I forgot to mention it. She thinks it's extending her own life. She says lack of death, i.e. lack of sleep, truly prolongs life. Of course, the doctor's like, you're gonna totally, this is gonna result in psychosis. You have to sleep. And I mean, it's too late. She's obviously totally fucking nuts. A very odd panel there. Not even sure what I'm seeing there. So Sleeper gives her a reliquary for funeral ashes. Another artifact, you know. I like this, how like this is like totally something from a movie. Batman is scaling the building to get to Dr. Shane's office. And they just cut away to see this guy. We're never going to see him again. He's brushing his teeth, totally oblivious that Batman's right outside his window. There's a lot of just goofy touches in these comics Kelley Jones threw in. And Sleeper basically says, yeah, I killed 3 of your colleagues, and I'm going to keep killing all of you, and you're next. So she whips her hair, and one of these skulls smashes against her face, and this gas comes out. And it's the same gas, obviously, that killed the first 3. And it's hallucinatory as well. So I love this when she looks at Sleeper. This is what she sees. So it's nice that Kelley Jones gets to show off his horror chops, because Kelley Jones is known for doing just great horror. And then right as she's about to chop her heart out, look at this, Batman crashes through. That's such a crazy, I mean, totally unrealistic the way his cape's going. But it's such a cool design looking thing, you know? Just this whole composition here is amazing. Batman stops her from chopping her heart out, and Sleeper runs away. The dying doctor is talking about Remy, so obviously it's all involved. All these people are involved with each other, or were. Man, look at this, guys. This is just complete nuts. So he's running up this spiral staircase, which is completely just, look at this. It's like op art. And look what is going on here. You don't even see his body. It's almost like Batman turned into a ghost, a black wraith. It's just twirling around the stairs. But it's totally just weird, but I love it. This is amazing to me. So he runs up to the rooftop, and right as he comes out the door, Sleeper explodes one of those little skulls right in his face. And Batman inhales. And he starts tripping balls. And I love this. In every issue, Kelley Jones would draw these little teasers for the next issue. Just these beautifully little designed coming attractions. We got the letter pages, and that's it for that issue. Number 517, Part 2. Another Kelley Jones solo cover. Some more of this crazy musculature. What the hell is that? That's no muscles look like that ever. And yet, I don't know, it kind of works. I usually hate this kind of like Image Comics, overly musculatured, bad anatomy. But I think it's Kelley Jones' cartooniness makes it palatable to me. I love Kelley Jones stuff, even this. But it's also just ridiculous. He's got little or no neck. His head is in the middle of his, I don't know, pretty much his chest. But look how great the swoop of Batman here. Even though I don't think any, drapery ever looked like this. Oh, what a great first page. Once again, we have one of those just little introductory panels. And the same, we have the same creative team. I love this panel as Batman is tripping out. Look, I don't know if you guys can see this amazing design work. Almost looks like a tree bark, you know? But just, it's amazing design motif. Look at the drapery here, just beautiful. And just the composition, it's just perfect to me. This is how Batman sees her, because he's under the influence of the drug. Kind of fun, crazy panel. That skull is very cartoony. So Batman falls off the roof of this building, and Sleeper basically says, okay, damn it, I killed him, but I didn't get his heart, just like I didn't get the doctor's heart. So I guess I got to return to the goddess empty-handed. Hopefully she'll forgive me. So we find out that Batman saved himself. We see his bat rope around this flagpole. More of that crazy, it almost looks like thumbprints or Van Gogh, Starry, Starry Night business going on. And look at all these crazy things on his cape. That's weird. God, I love this panel of him diving to the ground. Look at these geometric shapes behind him. That's just beautiful stuff. We see more of the relationship between Sleeper and Remy. She's begging for forgiveness from the goddess. Remy says she forgives you. And she says, how do you know? How do you know I'm forgiven? And he says, believe me, I know. And then he's thinking to himself, because I created the stupid goddess and the whole fairy tale myself. So now we realize there's more to Remy than we thought. We have a little interlude with Commissioner Gordon. Look at how amazing this panel is. So even though sometimes Kelley Jones just draws all crazy, this is like Timothy Bradstreet realistic, you know? That's just amazing. Great stuff. Gordon's talking to Bach. And so I guess something else that's going on now with in this period of Batman is Alfred is gone. I think he might have gotten mad at Batman for getting that Azrael guy to take over, but he's not there. So Bruce Wayne, he has this dinner party. He's got to organize it himself. The whole reason he's doing it, though, is just so he can meet this expert on sleep disorders. It's this guy, Dr. Knossos. And he's basically pumping him for information, finding out about sleep deprivation, REM sleep, all this stuff. Look how cartoony he draws this guy. It kind of looks like Bernie Wrightson, like his Captain Stern era. Batman's looking very pretty in this one. Looks like a teen heartthrob. And so Bruce Wayne's learning about all this stuff, trying to figure out what's to do with Sleeper. But then Dr. Knossos tells Bruce Wayne, is like, you know, actually the CIA tried to recruit me. They wanted my sleep research. I refused them flatly because I know what the CIA does with that kind of information. They were going to probably turn it into a weapon and use it to hurt people. And here we get into Doug Moench. You know, that's kind of one of his hobby horses. Loves to talk about the dirty dealings of the CIA, what some people who don't read would call conspiracy theories, but it's all documented. I mean, just people don't want to talk about it. So this guy refuses to help out the CIA, and apparently, though, they got his research anyway once it was published, and they developed this sleeper program. So Bruce Wayne's putting two and two together, and he's figuring out, so this is the CIA probably started the sleeper. Look at that. Just how cartoony that is. That's great. It's like a caricature. Now we see Remy writing a note. And he's saying, basically talking about the Sleeper Project. And he says, one problem, I have fallen in love with my own weapon system. So Remy's in love with Sleeper, even though she was just developed to be a weapon. Basically a Manchurian candidate. That's what the Dr. Nossos was talking about, the whole MK Ultra program. That's a real thing the CIA did, where they were trying to use hypnosis and drugs to basically make brainwashed assassins, like the Manchurian Candidate movie. This one of the party guests, this woman, what's her name? Corbett, Mrs. Corbett, or Ms. Corbett. She wants to stay later. She's obviously wants Bruce's his lovin'. But Bruce Wayne gets rid of her because now he's got this information. He's ready to take on Sleeper. So many great panels everywhere. So Remy's on the phone to the CIA, and it looks like he's in trouble with his CIA masters. They think he's kind of, gone off on his own. And he's like, no, guys, this is working out great. We're killing all the doctors who worked in this project so they can never squeal to the press. This is like, it's very elegant. The weapon they created is being used to kill them and silence them. And they're like, his handler at the CIA is like, shut up and listen. The company frowns on your risky initiative. And they're probably they're sending someone your way. And basically his handler says, you haven't talked to me. This phone call never happened. Click. So Remy's just fucking furious. They're going to take him out. He knows what that means. So Batman does some sleuthing, detective work, and he figures this all out. He finds out that Remy was in contact with all those hypnotherapists, and that he's a CIA guy. Look at that. Devious, devilish Batman. So now we see back at the Chinese palace, Remy's like, Sleeper, we got to get out of here. Come on. And she's like, I'm not leaving the goddess. And she starts getting paranoid because of her, sleep deprivation. She's like, you want me to fall asleep. You want me to die. And she says, the goddess wants me to carve out your treacherous heart. And she turns on him with a knife. Look at that spooky Batman there. She stabs Remy in the shoulder. Then she throws one of her little skulls at him. But he grabs the strand of hair and yanks it. But he doesn't know his own strength. And she falls up against the goddess statue. And it looks like she cracked her skull open. And he's instantly remorseful. He's like, Sleeper, no, it was an accident. I didn't mean to. Because remember, he loves her. Batman falls in right then. It almost seems like he doesn't even care that Batman's there. Remy's just like keeps saying, it was an accident. Oh, I loved her. And Batman starts bringing up some other CIA deplorable things that they did. I like this how Remy says, the world's a lot bigger than Gotham and it's a dangerous place. And Batman says, much of the danger comes from games played by madmen like you. Because if you read about all the dirty deeds of the CIA in the 20th century, I mean, it seems like they were just causing more harm to the world than any good. They were hurting a lot of people. I love this depiction of Batman there. It just looks like the devil. So he throws one of the skulls at Batman. Batman's prepared. He's got his nose filters. And so they fight mano a mano. This Remy guy's pretty formidable because Batman realizes he's hypno-programmed himself not to feel any pain. So he's just this juggernaut. And in the middle of their fight, all of a sudden, this guy with sunglasses breaks in, says, "Remy, you're fired," and shoots him right in the heart. Obviously, he's from the CIA. There's some more of that, the shingles, and boils on his chest. Another amazing panel of Batman. I really see Marshall Rogers in that face there. Batman takes out the CIA agent with a batarang. And it looks like the whole case is wrapped up. Batman goes over to Sleeper, realizes she's not dead. She's got a slight pulse. And then we see, obviously, this is a few days later, she's in a hospital. She's in a deep coma. Lost in dark dreams of Remy's making. She sleeps at last. A sleeper, perhaps forever. And a really cool Batman pose. And then we get another one of those great coming attraction panels. It's almost like a mini movie poster, you know? Coming soon. Oh, man, I love these superhero comics. These are some of the best Batmans ever. Got letter pages. And that's it for Batman number 516 and 517. So, yeah, we're going to look at this whole run, guys. There's some fill-in issues, which I got rid of a long time ago. Issue number... don't know. I think I forgot to point this out to you guys. This is just another thing where I think these guys knew they were doing something important. Just like P. Craig Russell used to always have that opus numbers on all of his comic pieces. They have the initials of the main creative team, 2. The reason why it's 2 is because this team actually started in issue 515. But that issue was the first part of like a 4-parter that went throughout the Batman titles. And I remember I owned it, but I didn't want to buy all those other comics with not as good art. And so I just figured, I don't need it. But now I'm kind of regretting it. Because even though I don't want to own those other issues, I'll never find out how the story ends. The art was beautiful, just as beautiful as these. And something I've learned in my old age. So sometimes it's nice to just have a comic because the art's beautiful. I used to always just get rid of comics like, oh, this beautiful art, but the story's bad. And I get rid of them. But sometimes art's so good in comics, it's worth keeping. Even if you never read it again, just to flip through. But luckily I got these, and there's a lot of them, guys. So over the next few months, we're going to be looking at all of these Batmans by Doug Moench and Kelley Jones. Hope you guys enjoyed looking at these, and I hope to see you next time here at the herculespetix Academy of Comic Book Studies.